from the bottom, ain't no problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey, look, don't worry, we gon' be okay. Hey, look, why? Cause we gon' make them pay. We from
I'm tripping. What's going down, gamblers around the world? Happy Friday. It's your boy, the coach, here representing Brothers and Bits, and I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Marley Bits. Marley, what's going down?
What's going down, people? So with it, shit. Same old, man. Good Friday. Got a game today.
Good Friday. Good Friday.
Dominate tonight. A couple hours.
Good Friday. Good pay. Hey, we're going to jump right into it. College basketball.
Spoke it up. I spoke it on the show one day soon.
Nah, you good. You good. Just to kind of recap, yesterday during the coach's corner, I did go. It was a bad day. I started off the week 6-0. We are locks, 2-0 on our locks, but yesterday got a rough patch. We only hit the Texas Tech first half. Seton Hall got upset. Florida Gulf Coast got upset. They started. Kennesaw State came out on fire, and then it just went downhill. They tried to come back, but it was already too late. The only money was Texas Tech first half, man, and it was pretty easy. After that, Indiana nutted up late. It was up by double digits at halftime, and they just nutted up.
Wisconsin yesterday.
Yeah. I just no. Oh yeah, you did say Wisconsin. No, I was talking about Indiana versus Iowa.
Is that who did Wisconsin? Oh no, that was Ohio State, Wisconsin. Was that Ohio State, Wisconsin?
Ohio State and Wisconsin was yesterday. Yeah, I didn't mess with that game, but
yeah, that Indiana Iowa. I was scared of that.
Lil James was going down. He said, "I teased that VCU 8.5. Is that good?" Well, we're gonna jump right into it. Hold on one second, my son.
What you did, like a 6-point team? Kind of big of a team. I thought basketball was like 4-point team.
What's up? Yeah, why? What's up?
My mom just stopped by real quick, and she was gonna pop up. I didn't go.
Why not?
It was gonna take too much time.
So I could have picked you up on there. My bad, y'all. My son on the phone.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell you that.
You could have went because I'm about to. All right, yeah. All right, let me call you right back.
Like Goldberg traps.
The trap god, I didn't understand. My bad, man. I apologize. That was my son. Just
not no bad traps like that. Like Goldberg traps.
Well, he done lost a little because of his little incident, but look, now Marley gets interrupted by the
he heard me calling his name.
Oh yeah,
sound like Skyler. Not even close.
Skyler the MVP, bro. That shirt you got on Shadow Creek, what's that about?
Come on, man. Stafford Cobras, dog.
Oh, that look like Shadow Creek. Anywho, man, let's jump right in because these games gonna be starting pretty soon. Let's start off with the 6:30 Central Standard Time game, a little in-conference rivalry. We got Virginia Commonwealth Rams at 10-4 on the year, 10-4 against the spread, going against St. Bonaventure Bonnies. They're 9-3 on the year, but they're 3-9 against the spread. This line opened up in favor of Virginia Commonwealth -2.5. That line has since switched to the other side, -3. And the total opened up at 127.5. Right now, that line's at 131. Injury reports right now. Nicholas Jr., he is questionable for today's game for Virginia Commonwealth. As far as the Bonnies, they got two guys dealing with COVID right now. The center, Duro Semi, and the guard, Brown. Right now, man, Virginia Commonwealth, they are on a 7-game winning streak. Their last outing, they beat George Washington 84-57. While the St. Bonnies, they were on a 2-game winning streak before they won earlier this week on the 11th against LA Sal. They won 80-76. Actual factuals real quick. Virginia Commonwealth 6-0 against the spread in the last 6 games. The overs hit 6 out of the last 9 games. They're 7-0 straight up in the last 7 games. 6-1 straight up in the last 7 games on the road. 5-0 against the spread in the last 5 games this season. 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 games against an Atlantic 10 conference, and 5-0 straight up in the last 5 games in the month of January. As far as the Bonnies, the same Bonaventure, they're 0-7 in the last 7 games against the spread. They oversee 6 out of the last 7 games. They're 15-5 straight up in the last 20 games. They oversee 7 out of the last 10. They're 0-5 against spread in the last 5 games at the crib. 0-5 against spread in the last 5 games this season, but 7-1 straight up in the last 8 games whenever they're going against an Atlantic 10 conference opponent. 9-0 straight up in the last 9 games played in the month of January. So, VCU, St. Bonnie's, Marley, what you got for this one?
All right, so look, just to start off, I'm on VCU.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you why. They're 4-0 on the road in their last 4 games. Now the concern is that Vince Williams, man, I miss talking about basketball. It's the first basketball show he does. Just feel different. Vince Williams, man, he's Mr. Everything for VCU. He leading the team in points, 11.3, rebounds 6, and assists at 3.2. My concern is he's only shooting 38% from the field, which is terrible by any stretch of the imagination. Now St. Bonnie, they're 0-5 ATS in their last 5 games, coach, and that's my issue. Now they got 3 guys that can put the ball in the basket, or we'll just say 3 key players in Jalen Holmes, Jalen 808, Jaron Holmes, and Kyle Lofton. That's your points, rebounds, and assist leaders. But with the thing that VCU does is they play that defense. And that's one thing that's going to travel, and one thing that's going to be on the road when your bookers are not falling. They only giving up 57 points a game, and averaging 63. And I think you said it earlier. They're like 3-9 ATS. St. Bonaventure. I couldn't remember the exact stat.
Yeah, 3-9. Yes, sir.
Also, so I'm going to take the hot team right now. Winners of well, I don't want to get them confused. With
7 games.
So
yeah,
I'm gonna take
7-game win streak.
I'm actually gonna, or I actually already have, because I already made these 2 plays earlier when we talked about them. I've even sprinkled a little bit on that money line, but I'm gonna take the VCU Commonwealth, Virginia Commonwealth University +3 here on the recommended play of the day.
All right. Yes. So, as far as my pick, I'm right there with you. I'm going with VCU with the points. At the 7-game winning streak, I'm gonna ride with it. And here's the thing. And like I'm giving out the official play VCU +3, but I took the money line on my end. It's already locked in. Yeah. St. Bonnie's, they've only had 1 game in almost a month, bro. 2 games in almost a month. Their last game before this week was December 17th against Virginia Tech when they lost 86-49. So kind of like the same thing what I was talking about yesterday with that Oregon and UCLA game. UCLA hadn't only played like 4 games in a month and a half. You know what I'm saying? So they've been out for a minute. So I see the same thing going on right now with St. Bonnie's. While Virginia Commonwealth, they're trending up. So my official play for this one, I'm going to ride with you. I'm taking Virginia State Commonwealth with the points. So that is my official play. Hey, we appreciate everybody tuning in. I am the coach. This is Marley Bets. We are brothers and bets. Flat top in the comment section. Flat top, we can kind of go over it.
I didn't even hit flat top. It was kind of last. My bad, flat top.
Yeah, Marley said his bad, but you'll be on the show, bro. We'll be on the show. But anywho, with that being said, now let's get to our lock of the day. So far we're 2-1 on the year for the locks of the days. So let's jump right into the mix. Our pick, this is our lot. You know, we got Davidson at Richmond. Richmond is a favorite by -1.5. Davidson Wildcats, aka Steph Curry Wildcats, they're 13-2 on the year, 10-3 against the spread, while the Richmond Spiders are 10-6 on the year, 7-9 against the spread. This line actually opened up in favor of Davidson, but then the line has since flipped. The total opened up at 143.5. Right now, that line's at 146. Injury reports real quick for Davidson. They don't have any injuries reported. As for Richmond, you know, they do got some guys that have been out all season. Guard Nelson, and forward Knowles. So, actually, they all decided to redshirt. Last time we seen Davidson, they won 77-67 against UMass. while the Richmond Spiders, they won 80-72 against UMass on January 5th. So they've actually been out for a while without any play. Let's get to these actual factuals. Davidson 9-2 against spread in the last 11 games. The overs hit 7 out of the last 10. They're 10-0 straight up in the last 10 games, but only 1-8 against the spread in the last 9 games against Richmond. 2-7 straight up in the last 9 games against Richmond, but 7-1 against the spread in the last 8 road games. But they also 1-5 against the spread in the last 6 games when playing on the road against Richmond. 5-1 though straight up in the last 6 games this year against Atlantic 10 Conference. So let's get to the actual factors for Richmond. 1-4 against the spread in the last 5 games. The unders hit 6 out of the last 9. The 7-2 straight up in the last 9 games. The overs hit 4 out of the last 5 against Davidson. Richmond 7-1 straight up in the last 8 games at home. 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 games at the crib. And 2-5 against the spread in the last 7 games this season, but only 1-5 in the last 6 games against Atlantic 10 Conference. So, lock of the day, Davidson versus Richmond. Marley, what's your lock?
Davidson, sir. Money line, your boy. I'm rocking with Davidson. They're on a 12-game winning streak. Including that winning streak is some pretty good wins, in my opinion. They beat a pretty decent for them St. Joe's team. You got a pretty good, in my opinion, University of Rhode Island team, and let's not forget that.
Yeah, they are Rhode Island. That's one of my sleeper teams.
Very good URI team, and let's not forget they beat number 10 Alabama, even though it's only by 1 point. It's still a victory. Aside from that, like I said, they're on a 12-game winning streak, 78 points a game, only giving up 65 points per game, and they're led by Mr. South Korea, guys from South Korea, point guard. I'm gonna try not to butcher his name, but I think I'm gonna say it right.
He's a transfer. He transferred in.
Yeah. Young Jung Lee, he's averaging 17 points a game, leading the team with 6.5 rebounds, which is really just one shy of rebound leader Luka. Let me see how to say his name. Luka Berkovic. I think I'm saying that right. He's averaging 13.2 points a game, 7.1 rebounds, and shooting 58.9% from the field. And then you got Foster, who's also averaging 15 points. So that's 3 guys that I got averaging in double digits for Davidson. Meanwhile, Richmond, they got Tyler Burton, obviously 18 points a game, 7 rebounds. He's leading the team in rebounds and points per game. I just think it's a little bit too much for Richmond right now, and Davidson is hot, man. 12 games in a row. And that same St. Joe's team that they beat I won't say just beat, but at the end of the year, about 2 weeks ago, they beat the hell out of Richmond 83-56. So I'm all over Davidson. This is definitely my lock for today. We talked about that this morning. I would say bet the house on it, but
Oh yeah, that's our lock. So Marley pretty much said everything that needed to be said. Richmond hasn't played in about a week and a half. 9 days, about a week and a half. So, but looking at the statistics and all the actual facts, everything points to Richmond, and that's the reason why that line flipped. And I think the public is going to eat that up as well. But I'm riding with the hot team that's going up, not the team that's going down, especially that haven't played a game in 9 days. Again, yesterday was a good example of how you can't be rusty in college basketball with UCLA and Oregon. So I'm right there with you. When we agree on it, that's our lock. So Davidson, our official lock of the day for today. So let's get this money, peoples. Hey, be sure to hit the like, subscribe, follow. Now we're going to go ahead and get into our Saturday slate. We only got 4 games. It's a ton of action going on, but we only got 4 games that we were able to break down. Let's kind of jump right into it. With the first one, we got Texas Tech coming off of it, just balled out yesterday, taking on the Kansas State Wildcats. Texas Tech 10-3 on the year, 10-6 against the spread, while the Wildcats are 8-7 on the year, 7-1 against the spread. This line opened up at 5.5, and it's been stuck since. So there hasn't been a whole lot of movement because these lines are fresh, and the total's at 126. Injury reports right now for Texas Tech. Shannon Jr., he is probable for tomorrow's game as well as Agabo. He is questionable. Calhoun is questionable as well. As far as Kansas State, McGurry, he is questionable. At the guard, he is quarantined, so he's questionable, as well as the forward, Ezegu. He is questionable as well. Edwards, he's out indefinitely, and Landers is questionable as well, as he's quarantining. Last time we saw Texas Tech, they beat Oklahoma State yesterday, while Kansas State is coming off a 57-60 loss against TCU, a game that they actually led in. Actual factuals for Texas Tech: 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 games. The unders hit 7 out of the last 9. They're 5-1 straight in the last 6 games, but only 1-5 against the spread in the last 6 games against Kansas State. 7-1 straight up in the last 8 games against Kansas State. 1-5 straight up in the last 6 games on the road. 3-9 straight up in the last 12 games whenever they're playing Kansas State on the road. But 4-1 against the spread in the last 5 games on the season and against Big 12 conference opponent. Kansas State, actual factuals: the unders hit 13 out of the last 20 games. They're 1-4 straight up in the last 5 games. The overs hit 5 out of the last 6 whenever they're playing against Tech. The Wildcats are 0-4-1 against the spread in the last 5 games to see at the crib. Again, 9-3 straight up in the last 12 games when playing at the crib against Texas Tech, though. And 2-4 straight up in the last 6 games this season. So, Kansas State, Texas Tech, early game. Marley, what's your play?
I'm riding this Texas Tech wave until it's time to get off. And I don't think this is the time to get off. I know you said they're 9-3 on the road to any K-State, but a lot of those K-State teams were actually pretty good. I don't think this K-State team is really that good. You listed a host of probables and injuries and COVID-related instances. Definitely can't back that. And Kevin McCullough, Mr. All-World for Texas Tech, leading the team in points, rebounds, I believe maybe assists as well, but 12.8 points a game, 5.9 rebounds. Yeah, and he's leading in assists at 3.7 per game. And the Wildcats are just, like you said, I mean, we've probably been saying this a lot, especially since the last end of football season. This team is trending upward and the team is trending downward. This Wildcat team was on a 4-game losing streak. Granted, some of the games were close, like the TCU loss was only 3 points. The West Virginia loss was only 3 points. But West Virginia is not really a good team, in my opinion. And then the Texas was a blowout. And I think Texas is on par with Texas Tech. That should be actually a good game in the Big 12. So I'm going to ride this Tech wave, especially after the way they played against Baylor. And I don't know if anybody knows, but we know how I feel about Baylor, or you know how I feel about Baylor, Coach. I think that's the best team in college basketball right now. So put me on.
They just had a little hiccup.
Yeah, that was just a little slip up. I mean, they're not gonna. I don't expect them to go undefeated. So, but it did let you know Texas Tech talent.
Yep. I'm gonna go with the first half again for Texas Tech. They're probably gonna come out just a little slow, but I'm kind of going against the analytics here, so I'm gonna take the first half. Texas Tech. It should be at 3.5. I'm gonna get in and get out. It's probably gonna get a lot closer towards the end of the game because Tech is, they've still been playing a couple of tough games this week, excuse me. So my official play for that game, I'm going to go with Texas Tech first half. I believe they'll get it done. So that's my official play. Hey, we appreciate everybody tuning in. I am the coach. This is Marley Betts, and we are brothers in bets. Let's jump right into the next game, afternoon game. Early afternoon. We got Tennessee traveling in to take on Kentucky. The Volunteers are 11-4 on the year, 9-6 against the spread, while the Kentucky Wildcats are 13-3 on the year, 8-8 against the spread. This total opened up in favor. Well, I don't need to go over that because these lines are just opening up. Tennessee doesn't have any injury reports right now. As far as Kentucky, Wheeler, the guard, he is probable with a neck injury. Last time we seen Tennessee, they won 66-46 against Kentucky. Against South Carolina, while Kentucky's coming off a 78-66 victory over Vanderbilt. Get to these actual facts. Tennessee 5-2 against the spread in the last 7 games. The unders hit 8 out of the last 10. They're 9-3 straight up in the last 12 games. 4-2 against the spread in the last 6 games against Kentucky. 4-2 straight up in the last 6 games against Kentucky as well. But 4-16 is straight up in the last 20 games when playing on the road against Kentucky. They're 4-1 in the month of January in the last 5 games, and the unders hit 4 in the last 5 games this season. Let's get to Kentucky, Big Blue Nation. 5-2 against the spread in the last 7 games. They're 13-2 straight up in the last 15 games. The overs hit 4 out of the last 5 against Tennessee. 10-0 straight up in the last 10 games at the crib. Like I said, 16-4 straight up in the last 20 games when playing at the crib against Tennessee, but 5-13-1 in the last 19 games against the SEC conference opponent. So Kentucky, Big Blue Nation taking on Big Orange and Tennessee. Marley, do you have a play for this?
Yeah, I'm on Kentucky here. I'm going to hope that I can get the line to come down a little bit since these are early lines. Hoping I can probably catch it at a 4, maybe a 3.5. If not, I'll money line it, a rule if it's around that area.
So what's your play though for the people?
My play.
I'm just saying, I know you're about to go through your statistics, but you're doing a lot of what if, and these people need your play right now.
My play is Kentucky minus the points. How about that?
Okay.
Kentucky minus the points. I don't know if Tennessee is going to be able to slow the high-powered offense of the Wildcats. They're averaging 82.6 points a game and only giving up. They both give up about 60. Kentucky at 62, but Kentucky's averaging over 80 points a game, and that's all because of Oscar Tshiebwe. I don't know if I'm saying his last name right, but the kid with like the African kid with like the mini flat top, you know what I'm saying? 15 points a game. I mean, not 15 points a game, excuse me, 17 points a game, 15 rebounds a game, walking double. So I'm on Kentucky minus 4. I do like Tennessee. I think they're a tough team, but I'm going with the blue blood on the home court here. The crowd is going to be rocking. SB goddamn O.
SBO, goddamn it.
It's all good though. It's all good. I'm on Kentucky though, minus the 4.5.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Kentucky first half. I think Big Blue Nation coming back home is gonna be amped up for this game against Tennessee. This is a East SEC rivalry game. I'm just gonna take them first half money line. It should be 2.5 to be honest. It might be 3 or less. There's gonna be some line movements, but I'm just gonna take them with the money line just to win it. But that's gonna be my official play for this game. I like Big Blue Nation. They do got better athletes over there, and that crowd's gonna be amped up, man. So that's my official play for that one. Kentucky first half. So, hey, we appreciate everybody tuning in. I don't know about you. This is my lock of the day for tomorrow. I don't know about you, but my pick for this game is the lock of the day. And we talking about Texas versus Iowa State. Texas 13-3 and 8-8 against the spread, while the Cyclones are also 13-3, 10-6 against the spread. This game's tipping off at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got to get out of football. I'm still football locked in. Injury reports right now for Tech. Freebies, the guard, he is questionable, while Walker is questionable with the illness for Iowa State. Last time we seen Texas, they played Oklahoma on the 11th. They won 66-52, while Iowa State, last time we seen them, they lost. They're on a 2-game losing streak. They lost to Oklahoma 66-79, and they lost to Kansas 61-62 in a close one. Factual is Texas 4-1 against the spread in the last 5 games this season. The unders hit 7 out of the last 9 games. They're 7-1 straight up in the last 8 games, 8-3 against the spread in the last 11 games against Iowa State. 8-2 straight up in the last 10 games against Iowa State. 10-5 straight up in the last 15 games on the road, though. They overs hit 11 out of the last 12 games when playing on the road against Iowa State. And they're 8-1 against the spread in the last 9 games against the Big 12 Conference. Iowa State 9-4 against the spread in the last 13 games. The unders hit 10 out of the last 15. They're 13-3 straight up in the last 16 games. The overs also hit 5 out of the last 5 games whenever they're playing against Texas. I was 10-1 straight up in the last 11 games at the cribs, and 2-5 against spread in the last 7 games in the month of January, but 7-1 in the last 8 games when playing as an underdog. So I'm gonna let you go first, Marley. Texas versus Iowa State. Do you have a play for this one?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, actually, I do. Out of the plays we're doing, I guess you could say this is probably my lock for Saturday. It's the one I feel the most confident in anyway. I'll say that. Both of these teams are averaging 70 points, giving up 50. Texas 53, Iowa State 58. Kind of on paper, they're a mirror image of each other. Both 13-3. Big 12 conference. But in my opinion, in this early basketball season, Texas sucks on the road. That's where all 3 of their losses have come from, on the road. Granted, one of them was Gonzaga, and I guess if you want to give them the Gonzaga loss, but I watched that Oklahoma State loss, and that was a terrible loss. And the offense I didn't like how the offense was moving, and it's just like they didn't have no fluidity to it. It was just, I don't know. But that was an awful loss to me. And I look at Iowa State losses. I give you the Oklahoma loss. I'm not sure how good Oklahoma is yet, but a 77-72 loss to Baylor, I'm not mad at that. And the 62-61 loss to Kansas, I'm not mad at that neither. Especially when they were a 6-point dog. I like Iowa here, Coach, on the money line. I'm hoping money keeps flowing in on Texas. Maybe we can get some better value, but I'm going Iowa State. I'm on the money line. Out of the 3 games we've done thus far, I'm the most confident in that pick. So if you want to call it a lock, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, man, I'm right there with you. I'm taking.
My bad. I do want to say I left out this. It's really gonna boil down to, can Texas stop Isaiah Brogington? You know what I'm saying? The man is averaging 17 points a game, and he's leading the team in rebounds at 8.
My bad. So I'm going with Iowa State only strictly because they are tough to play at the crib, and whenever Iowa State is having a good season, that crowd, man, that crowd, they are something else, bro. So, and I do like the way they do play at the crib. You know, we know Texas, we follow Texas. You know, we're here in Texas, so we know, some of their trends better than most. And I just feel as though this is one of those games. Iowa State's do one. They're on a back-to-back loss against some of the top echelon teams of the Big 12 this season. Yeah. And this is another one, but Texas just they are not the same when they're on the road.
Not at all. I watched that Oklahoma State game was ugly for Texas. I sat and watched that game.
Yeah, so my official play, I'm taking Iowa State +1. And that's my lock for tomorrow. So hey, we appreciate everybody tuning in. I am the coach. This is Marley Betts. Combined, we are sitting at 9-3, 2-1 on our locks for this week. Florida Gulf Coast nutted up for us yesterday to keep the streak going, but hey, man, we making things happen. So I'm just excited about college basketball being here, man.
I'm not gonna lie, I am too.
So, and we got our last game, and we just added this to our docket because the line came out, and Marley really likes this one. We're talking about Oklahoma Sooners. We stand in the Big 12. Oklahoma Sooners taking on the TCU Horned Frogs. The Sooners are 12-4, and this game tips off at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Sooners are 12-4 on the year, 8-8 against the spread, while the TCU Horned Frogs are 11-2 on the year, 6-5-2 against the spread. Injury reports right now for Oklahoma, they're dealing with some quarantine issues. Center Issa, he is questionable. Johnson, the guard, is questionable. Mason, the guard, is questionable. He's also questionable at the forward position, all due to COVID. As far as TCU, Evans is out and Wells is out. Last time we seen OU, they lost to Texas 66-52 on the 11th. While TCU won 60-57 against Kansas State, they actually came back. They were down by double digits in that game, and they fought back on the road to get that victory. I think I took them to money line.
I took TCU money line that game.
And a live betting. Get to these extra facts real quick. The over has hit 12 out of the last 18 games for OU. They're 12-4 straight up in the last 16 games, but 4-0-1 against spread in the last 5 games against TCU. 8-0 straight up in the last 8 games against TCU. 1-4 straight up in the last 5 games on the road. 7-1 straight up in the last 8 games on the road against TCU. And 2-9 against the spread in the last 11 games against a Big 12 conference opponent. TCU 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 games. The over say 5 out of the last 6. They're 8-1 straight up in the last 9 games. The total has also gone over 6 out of the last 9 games against OU. 6-1 straight up in the last 7 games at the crib. But like I said earlier, they're 1-7 straight up in the last 8 games against OU. 3-8 against the spread in the last 11 games against Big 12 conference opponents. So TCU hosting Oklahoma. Marley, what is your play?
All right. I'm on the Horned Frogs here, man. Pick them at home. Give them to me. Like I said earlier, I don't know how good Oklahoma is yet, but you just spelled it out for me with a bunch of host of injuries and COVID reports on that game. I took TCU in that last game against a pretty good Kansas State team. They actually were leading at halftime by a point. And, it was a tight game all the way through. And outside of Baylor and a unexplainable loss to Santa Clara early in the year, like the 4th game, this team has been flawless. I think this is one of my sleeper teams in the Big 12. They necessarily haven't been tested yet in the Big 12 outside of Baylor, which they lost by 12, but everybody loses to Baylor. Tech got one in, caught them sleeping. I'm high on this TCU team as of right now. This would be a good test for me to really see where they're at. I don't know where Oklahoma's at neither, but I really like TCU at the crib and the way they played the first half of the season.
All right. Yeah.
I'm going to be on my boy. My bad. I've been meaning to do this.
No, you're good. You're good, bro. You're good.
Mike Williams. Got to mention Mike Williams. 17 points a game, leading the Horned Frogs. Also leading them in assists, 4.8. We can call it 5 points a game. And so if he has a typical Mike Miles games, I expect for TCU to come out on top.
All right. Yeah, I am gonna stay off this game. I'm not gonna fuck with it. If I was to make a lean, I'd go TCU. TCU is a tough, scrappy little team, but I'm staying off of it. I got my 3 plays for tomorrow, and I'm good till we see what that Baylor versus Oklahoma State line is, and I'm all over that Baylor, whatever it is. Because
I was gonna say I don't even care what it is. I'm all over Baylor.
Yeah. So hey, we appreciate everybody tuning in. I am the coach. This is Marley. I got to get out of here because the boss man is calling me. We got a point meeting. So you want to end us on a good note?
Of course I do, as always. Y'all know what it is. Davidson, lock of the day. Put it down, brothers and bits. What's our lock record, real quick?
Oh, we're 2-1 this week. Marley, he likes for today and tomorrow. Marley likes VCU +3, Davidson money line, Texas Tech -5.5, Kentucky -4.5 on Iowa State money line. As for myself, I like VCU +3. The lock of the day is Davidson money line, Texas Tech first half -3 or whatever it is, Kansas State first half money line, and the lock of tomorrow, Iowa State +1 for myself. So that's it. And
that is it, people. I am Marley Best. That is the coach. This is Brothers in Bets, man. Y'all appreciate us. Appreciate y'all joining in today. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know what it is. Let's beat Vegas. And we out this motherfucker.
Check it out. Look, we from the bottom, ain't no problems, we gon' make